What's holding this up? Hey, what's going on? This is Amazon Jude in Casper, and today's date is September 14th, 2018. I am now completed with my chemo treatments. I had 6 of those. I was supposed to go see my doctor today for my back. We found, like I said, we found that L3 and L4 in my lower lumbar is herniated to the point where it's pushed into the nerves leading to my feet or my legs, and that's why my right leg is swelling up like it does, and that's why my toes have been numb on both feet for a long time. I mean, they were horrible with going through the chemo, and my toenails had fallen off, and it was horrible. But I was supposed to go see him today. His name is Dr. Oh, God. Now I forgot it. I wanted to say Warren, but it's not. Anyway, just as I was driving up there, his secretary calls. Well, he's in surgery, so I didn't need to get dressed and go all the way across town. But I did have to stop at my regular doctor's office and visit with them in Walgreens and get a couple more prescriptions. They said that this Herceptin that I'm going to be on is probably going to cause diarrhea again. That is the worst part about the chemo, I think, is the diarrhea. I didn't feel bad, and the mouth sores, I took care of those relatively quickly. I have a friend that's a nurse, and she said salt water and baking soda, and brush your mouth with that as many times a day as you can, and you'll keep the sores away, and it did. I mean, I had a couple of them coming in, but as soon as I started brushing with baking soda and salt, warm water on a regular toothbrush, it was perfect. I also, that's Sissy. This is Sissy. This is my girl kitty. See her? Say hi. Say hi. She's the one that discovered my cancer. She was always putting her face and rubbing in my armpit with her head. And about the same time that my boob started hurting, and it would hurt from like under my arm in a section maybe about that wide along the side of my boob all the way to the nipple. And it would be sharp stabbing pains. It would be numbing pains. It would be just mind-blowing every month for about 10 days. And I went through that for about 4 months. I waited 4 months. And when I finally decided that I had to do something about it, because it was no longer during when I would be menstruating. I don't do a period. I'm fixed, but I still have my ovaries, and that's what had my cancer growing, is my ovaries. They're producing too much estrogen. Can you believe that? 3 years ago, I had a hysterectomy because of fibroids, and I told him, no, go ahead and keep my ovaries. I might need that for the change of life. Bullshit. If you're going to go in and get it all cut out, especially if you're going to end up like me, cancer's fed by estrogen. Anyway, it was about this wide, and it went all the way to my nipple, and it kept hurting. Well, that's my cat. She discovered it. I was going in to have my legs looked at because my feet kept swelling up. Now we know my back had a lot to do with it. And anyway, I got the mammogram done while I was there doing the ultrasound on my leg. And she said, well, after the mammogram, she says, we need to do an ultrasound on your breast. And I was like, holy shit. You know, I knew it. When I was sitting in that little waiting room, you know, changing your shirt just before they go smash your boobs between 2 pieces of glass, I just knew something was different that day. I knew that my cat had been rubbing in my arm. I hadn't felt good. I had no energy to do anything. And to be honest with you, all of that time before I came up with cancer, I was drinking. You know, I was getting drunk Thursday night, Friday night. The old man hated it. And, you know, the reason I was getting drunk is because I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. My back was so bad, and my feet hurt all the freaking time. So I was drinking a lot, and I'm glad. You know, right now, this is what, September? So it's what, 10 months I haven't had a drink? I haven't even missed it. Really. That's okay. My liver's back to being pretty good shape. I mean, it was 260 for the enzymes on it. And then after about, I don't know, a couple of months of not drinking, we did another liver enzyme test, and it was like 44. So my liver is good to roll. We did my heart, ultrasound on my heart. I do have a murmur, and it's pretty private, because the doctors all can hear it pretty quickly. Got my blood pressure under control, got my diabetes under control. I've lost 41 pounds. I'm optimistic still. I mean, I still haven't gone through enough of the radiation treatments, and they say that's going to make the area where they do the radiation burn, like a sunburn, real bad. So I'm hoping I can do like maybe 3 weeks of the radiation and the first of the Herceptin again with the Progetta, and then do my back surgery. And I'm hoping I'll only be down maybe a couple, 3 weeks. I don't even think that long, because all I'll have to do in the meantime is get to oncology 5 days a week for radiation, and have to get to oncology's chemo department for my Herceptin infusion, because that takes an hour. So that's 1 hour every 3 weeks. And this radiation is supposed to be 33 treatments, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. So that's going to be kind of tough. But, you know, the way I'm looking at it, and I know it's probably not the way the doctors would want me to look at this, but when they discovered the cancer in my right breast, the first surgery I went through was removal of it. Okay, so they went in and they removed the tumors that were in my breast, and I still had my boob. And then pathology came back about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks later. It was a long time. It was a long time. And yeah, it had to be 2 or 3 weeks, because my boob was healing pretty good. Anyway, the pathology came back, and it said 2 types of cancer, and it was in 2 of the 4 lymph nodes. So when my surgeon was in there, he removed the tumors, and he removed the lymph nodes. So anyway, that's the reason I don't feel too bad about it, because it wasn't in my left breast yet. So I went ahead and had it taken at the same time. So I have no boobs, which I don't really care. I've been married to my husband for 20 years, and we've been together a couple years longer than that. He kind of joked around the other day. It was kind of funny. He said, you know, we had your boobs for 20 years, you know. I was like, well, we're just going to have to figure out new ways to turn me on. I got a few ideas, you know, and I roll my eyebrows, and he just laughs. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping to do, is to do at least a couple weeks of radiation, and then get my back surgery done, and then back to the radiation and get that finished up. I know in December my insurance runs out. I don't know why everybody's bitching right now. The prices are too high, yes. But when the free market was running it, and not the government, and not Obamacare, and not all of that crap, our premium was like $800 a month for my husband and myself. We had, I think it was a $5,000 deductible, which is pretty average. I mean, I would think $5,000, you can make that in no time flat, just by paying off a mammogram and, you know, a echocardiogram, and you know, those are $2,500 a piece. Those are $5,000. I think the government should get out of our health care altogether, and get back to letting companies compete. That's what America is. Companies need to compete. We need to compete. We need to compete on the global stage. We need to compete right here in the United States. So anyway, let's go back to cancer today instead of my politics. I'm going to do a separate one on that. Democrats are losing their flipping minds. And Dianne Feinstein releasing a secretive letter that was given to her back in July. You know who I think gave it to her? John McCain. Some fucking flake like that. That's who gave it to him. Anyway, so I feel good, and I've got my house cleaned up. I'm doing dishes. I'm doing laundry. I'm exercising. I have been eating too much sugar, but Monday I'll get back on the clock and make sure that I'm eating a lot better. I've got you know, tomatoes and stuff like that that I can eat instead of sour cream and cheese. But anyway, there's up-to-dates on that. I feel pretty good. Like I said, I'm back doing my own housework. I still baby myself by sitting on my shower chair because it feels good, and I just let the heat run on me, you know, because my back's bothering me and my feet bother me, and then I put my feet in cold water, and it helps keep the swelling down really well. I just get an old laundry bucket, you know, the square ones. I think it's Sunfresh from Sam's Club. Those buckets are perfect because you can go up as high as I had a little bit of gout going on there too. And I noticed that since I did 30 days of antibiotics from Rocky Mountain Infectious Disease, great doctors over there. If you guys ever have, you know, something that's infected and you can't go to the doctors or the hospital, you go over to them. Infectious disease, especially if it's a diabetic related item or an open sore or hepatitis, gout, they will treat you. Whether you got money or not. And I would have liked to have seen our county commissioners talk about giving funding to actual medical facilities that do good, instead of all this money to Wyoming Medical Center. Wyoming Medical Center gets a lot of money already. They get, hell, my room was $4,700 a day. I was there for 9 days. You know, if I had to pay that, we'd be bankrupt. That's why I have health insurance. That's why I didn't bother with that Obama shit, you know, because I knew all that's got to be pre-approved. That's the catch with your Obama crap, guys. Everything's got to be pre-approved. The doctors, all of it, everything. Mine, something goes wrong, I go in and I'm taken care of. Hell, or, you know, my deductible's paid, so it's 80% and 20% on me. So I'm a happy camper. But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to Rocky Mountain Oncology, Jonna and Carol and my blood gal. Why do I always forget her name? It's this chemo brain. It really is. You have no short-term memory, and I love her. Yoli, Yolly. She's great. She's this little Asian gal. When she did, I have a port, see? You see it right here? I have a port. And that was put in when I went in for surgery. If you come up with cancer, you want a port. Otherwise, your arms are just going to be poked to death. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather plug in up here. It's kind of creepy, but that's a good thing. I can get fluids up here. I can get antibiotics up here. I can get my chemos up here. Everything. I mean, I think you ought to keep a port in your body just so that, you know, if something happens, they can access fluids to you right away. You know, I had blood, took 2 pints of blood after last time. So they hooked into this puppy and I was juiced up in no time. But anyway, there's 13 minutes of bullshit by Amazon Jude in Casper, Wyoming over cancer. And I want to let you know, ladies, don't give up. If you're depressed, get out and do something. I don't care if you don't feel like going. Call a friend, have them come over and visit with you. Don't spend time alone. Make projects. Like out here on my place, I have 10 acres. So there's always something that needs to be done. And I have 22 geese. And I have probably 30 flippin' cats. And I think there's even a mama raccoon and 2 babies right now. And I was getting ready to call Jerry over at his pest control and have him set some traps, because he'll come get them. He doesn't kill them. And that's why I really like Jerry. He traps them and then he takes them out 33 Mile Road or some fucking place and lets them loose, or Alcova or whatever. And he got a really cute fox out of here one time. He was living across the road at old Don Wolcott's pallets over there, and I could hear the cubs at night. There was about 6 of them. I don't know what happened to most of them, but we caught 2 of them over here, and they now live out in Natrona County, Wyoming. But anyway, get back out there. Keep an eye on, if you're diabetic, keep an eye on that. Test your blood. Keep your blood pressure. I bought a cuff a long time ago. Like that. And I can test Dana's blood pressure when he needs it. I can test mine when I'm feeling funky. I have a thermometer. We both have diabetic testing kits for our blood glucose, and you know, it's hell getting old, but if you take care of yourself, you know, and baby yourself. If you're tired, lay down. If you're depressed, call someone who loves you, or go online and make a video and share your video with someone else. That's why I do this. It's not for any other reason but to, if one person out there makes it through breast cancer stage 2, positive for estrogen, then this was worth it. Because I'm glad I had a really good support system. My son and his daughter, or my daughter-in-law, Candace, she has been a godsend to me. She'd come over and clean everything and scoop the poop in the litter box. Yes, I got sick one time because my cats would lick on me when I'm sleeping. And during chemo, you're so compromised that anything can make you sick. So I went through that. That was part of the 31 days of antibiotics. I had probably 5 or 6 different infections in my body. I had one under my armpit from when the hospital had done pathology. Whatever he did it incorrectly because it gave me an infection. And that sat there for 5 months. And it wasn't discovered again until my surgeon went back in to put in the old grenades because I was still draining quite a bit in this boob, and it was just filling up making this pocket, and I would have to have it drained when I went to the doctors once a week. Anyway, so when he went in to put the grenade back on, the drain, he saw this little white spot, and he poked at it, and it just burst open with pus. And that was where they had taken the pathology out of me. You know, 7 samples. I'll tell you what, I wanted to punch that guy in the balls. He didn't numb my boob out enough, and I felt every one of those, because it's like a gun, and it goes in and it shoots, but it grabs a piece of your boob, your meat in there, your whatever, the cancer. And each time he did it 7 times. I'll tell you what, I wrecked my bike twice in my life, and I never hurt that much. And when I got up off that table, I was still crying from him. And be careful with that, ladies. If somebody hurts you anywhere during your journey through this horrible, horrible disease, report them. I did. And I'm so glad I did. If that man never, ever takes another sample of a woman's boob for pathology, I would be happy. So, I guess that's it. I'm a little tired. I've been running around. I went out to the barn, started my motorcycle up for a little bit, and can't wait to ride. Dug out my motorcycle boots, my leathers. They're all nice, safely tucked in my bedroom now, ready for spring next year. Hopefully all this will be over, and I'll be 190 pounds sliding back into my jeans. And, yeah, I'll go see Jay and get my 2 teeth put back together. I couldn't do much of anything through all of this. The other didn't feel good, and it's not medically wise to go have anybody poking around when your body is so susceptible to disease. So, anyway, I guess that's it for today. And keep your chin up. You know, whatever you need to do. CBD oil seems to help a lot of people. I've tried it. It does help to a degree, but I got some pretty good drugs from my cancer doctor, and they're not narcotic in any way either. They're just, you know, take the edge off. One of them is gabapentin. It works really good, especially right now because of my feet. It's not because of anything to do with my cancer. It's because of my feet. Until my back is fixed, this is the way it is. I couldn't do Lyrica. It gave me my legs would jump. And it was $400 for a prescription of it, even with insurance. And this is Wyoming. So, anyway, I wanted to tell everybody hello, and I love you. Phyllis, I'm glad the doctor said that everything's okay with you. Candace, we got to get you in and get that nose looked at, hon, and make sure that it heals up. And with that, I'll close, and let's get back to politics. Them sons of